The alarm screamed through the Earth Defense Station, high above the planet. Red lights flashed in every hallway. Commander Lee Minho ran toward the communication center, his boots hitting the metal floor hard with each step. "What is it?" he asked. As he burst through the doors, Officer Park Gina looked up from her computer screen. Her face was white with shock. "Sir, we're getting a message from space. It's not from any of our ships. Show me!" The main screen flickered to life. A strange being appeared on the screen. It looked like it was made of blue crystal, with light moving through its body like water. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English, but the voice sounded like music. "People of Earth," the being said, "my name is Velana. I speak for the Veltar people. We need your help. We are dying." Minho stared at the screen. First contact with aliens. After all these years of wondering, here it was. But they weren't coming to invade or trade. They were begging. "We have watched your planet for many years," Velanor continued. "We know you come from what we call a death world. Your planet tries to kill you every day. The gravity crushes most beings. The weather destroys cities. The animals hunt each other without mercy. Yet you not only survive, you grow stronger." The image changed. Now it showed space, but something was wrong. Black shapes moved between the stars like hungry shadows. Where they passed, planets went dark. "The Void Swarm has come to our galaxy," Velenar said. "They eat everything. They have already destroyed 17 of our worlds. Our weapons do nothing. Our shields break like glass. Our allies have all fallen or run away." More images flashed. On the screen, cities burning, ships exploding, crystal beings like Velanor screaming as black creatures covered them. "We have tried everything," the alien continued, "but we are a peaceful people. We do not know how to fight such evil. That is why we come to you, the Death World humans. You know how to survive. You know how to fight. Please help us." The message ended. The room fell silent. Officer Park spoke first. "Sir, should we wake up the president?" "Yes," Minho said. "Wake up, everyone. This changes everything." 2 hours later, President Kim Sora sat in the emergency meeting room. Around the table were the most important people on Earth. General Bay Woodman, head of the Earth Defense Force. Dr. Yoon Hanna, the planet's best scientist. Admiral Seo Jinwoo, commander of the space fleet. "Let me understand this," President Kim said. "Aliens exist. They've been watching us. And now they want our help to fight other aliens." "That's correct, Madam President," Dr. Yoon said. She pulled up more data on her tablet. "I've been studying their message. The Veltar seem to be a highly advanced species, but they've never had to fight for survival like we have." "What do you mean?" the president asked. "Their planet was perfect," Dr. Yoon explained. "Good weather, no dangerous animals, gentle gravity. They never had to develop weapons or fighting skills. They grew up in paradise." General Bay laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "And now they're facing something that wants to eat them alive. No wonder they're scared." Admiral Seo leaned forward. "What do we know about this Void Swarm?" Dr. Yoon changed the screen. "From what I can see in their data, these aren't normal aliens. They're more like a disease that learned to think. They break down matter and absorb it. They've been moving from galaxy to galaxy, eating everything in their path." "How many ships do they have?" the Admiral asked. "Ships might be the wrong word," Dr. Yoon said. "They seem to be living creatures that can survive in space. The Veltar data shows thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands." The room went quiet. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Earth's entire space fleet had maybe 50 ships that could fight in deep space. President Kim stood up. "I need to know something. If we help these Veltar, are we putting Earth in danger?" "Yes," General Bay said without hesitation. "If we fight this swarm and lose, they'll probably come here next. But if we don't fight and the swarm wins, they'll come here anyway. So we're going to fight either way. It looks like it." "Madam President," Kim Sora walked to the window. Outside, she could see the lights of Seoul far below. Millions of people sleeping peacefully, not knowing that aliens existed or that a war was coming. "Dr. Yoon," she said, "in your opinion, do we have a chance?" The scientist was quiet for a long moment. The Veltar are right about one thing. We are from a death world. Everything on Earth is designed to survive or die trying. Our animals are tougher than anything else in the galaxy. Our weather is more violent. Our diseases are more deadly. And we humans, we're the top predator on a planet full of predators. That doesn't answer my question. I think, Dr. Yoon said slowly, that this void swarm has never fought anything like us before. They're used to fighting peaceful species who don't know how to be violent. But we've been fighting wars for thousands of years. We're good at it. Admiral CO nodded. Our ships are built to fight in Earth's gravity and survive Earth's radiation. That makes them much stronger than normal ships. Our weapons are designed to destroy Earth's toughest materials. And our soldiers, ... double quotes, he smiled grimly. Our soldiers train in conditions that would kill most aliens. President Kim turned back to the table. Show me the message again. They watched Velinor's plea once more. When it ended, Kim made her decision. We're going to help them, she said. Not just because it's the right thing to do, but because this is how humanity enters the galactic community. We don't sneak in quietly. We kick down the door and save everyone inside. General Bay grinned. What are your orders, Madam President? Send a message to the Veltar. Tell them help is coming. Then prepare our entire deep space fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier we can spare. Ma'am, Admiral CO said. What if we're not strong enough? President Kim looked at each person around the table. These were Earth's best and brightest. These were the people who would lead humanity into its first war among the stars. Then we make sure the galaxy remembers that humans don't give up, she said. If we're going to lose, we'll lose fighting. And maybe that will inspire someone else to keep fighting after we're gone. But I don't think we're going to lose, Dr. Yoon said quietly. The Void Swarm thinks they're the deadliest thing in the universe. They're about to learn what happens when you threaten a species that climbed to the top of the food chain on hell itself. Admiral CO stood up. How long do we have, according to the Veltar data? The swarm will reach their homeworld in 6 weeks, Dr. Yoon said. Then we leave in 4 weeks, the Admiral said. That gives us 2 weeks to prepare, and 2 weeks to travel. President Kim nodded. Make it happen, and send one more message to the Veltar. What should it say? Commander Lee asked. Kim smiled, and for the first time since the alien message arrived, it was a real smile. Tell them that the humans are coming, and tell them that when we arrive, the Void Swarm is going to learn why you don't threaten the death. World species. As the meeting ended and everyone rushed to prepare for humanity's first interstellar war, none of them knew that across the galaxy, the Void Swarm had intercepted their messages. The ancient hunger was curious about these death world humans. Soon, it would learn that curiosity could be a very dangerous thing. 4 weeks later, Admiral SCO Jinwoo stood on the bridge of the flagship Soul's Pride. Around him, the crew worked quietly at their stations. Through the front window, he could see the other ships in the human fleet. 37 vessels, the largest force Earth had ever sent into deep space. Jump complete, Admiral, reported Navigation Officer Nam Kiwoo. We are now in the Veltar home system. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go silent. The Veltar homeworld hung in space like a dying jewel. Its blue surface was covered with black spots where the Void Swarm had already begun feeding. Around the planet, thousands of dark shapes moved like hungry sharks. My God, whispered Communications Officer Omina. There are so many of them. The Void Swarm creatures were not ships in any normal sense. They looked like massive black insects crossed with jellyfish. Each one was as big as a building, with tentacles that glowed with evil lights. They pulsed and moved like living things, because that's exactly what they were. Admiral Omina said, we're getting a message from the planet's surface. Put it through. Velinor's crystal face appeared on the screen, but he looked different now. Cracks ran through his body, and his light was dim. Humans, he said, and his musical voice was full of pain. You came. We did not think. We hoped, but we did not think you would really come. We keep our promises, Admiral SCO said. What's the situation down there? Bad, Velinor replied. The swarm landed on our world 3 days ago. They are eating our cities, our people, everything. We have maybe 1 day before there is nothing left. Understood. Get your people to safety. We'll handle this. Velenor's image flickered. Admiral, there are thousands of them, and you have only 37 ships. How can you? Because we're humans, the Admiral said simply. We'll find a way. The communication ended. Admiral SEO turned to his crew. All ships, battle stations. Today, we show the galaxy what happens when you threaten our friends. Captain Lee Dongman of the destroyer Bizon's Hammer was the first to spot the swarm's response. Admiral, they're moving toward us. Looks like about 2,000 of the big ones. Good, Admiral CO said. That means they're not down on the planet eating more civilians. All ships, attack formation Delta. Remember your training. The human fleet spread out into hunting groups. This was not how space battles were supposed to work. The Veltar fought in neat lines, using energy beams from long distance. But humans had learned warfare on a planet where predators hunted in packs. The first void swarm creature to reach them was the size of a city block. It opened its mouth, revealing rows of teeth made from some kind of black metal. Acid sprayed from its tentacles. Ramming speed, Captain Kim Minsu of the cruiser Daegu's Fury ordered. His ship, built to survive in Earth's crushing gravity and deadly radiation, smashed into the creature head first. The swarm beast's armor cracked like an egg. Green blood sprayed into space. It's working, Captain Kim reported. Their armor can't handle kinetic impact, but the void swarm was learning. The creatures began to spread out, trying to surround individual human ships. They spit acid and fired some kind of energy weapon that looked like black lightning. Commander Yoon Hannah led the fighter squadrons. Her small ship danced between the massive swarm creatures like an angry wasp. They're slow to turn, she reported, but there are so many of them. The battle raged for hours. Human ships used every trick they knew. They rammed the creatures, fired missiles into their mouths, and used their superior speed to avoid the worst attacks. But slowly, the swarm was pushing them back. Admiral, reported Tactical Officer Park Hyun-woo, we've destroyed maybe 300 of them, but they keep coming, and they're adapting to our tactics. Admiral SEO watched as a swarm creature grabbed one of his destroyers with its tentacles. The ship's armor held, but barely. Dr. Nam, he called to the ship's scientist. What did you learn from the samples? Dr. Nam, Yunji looked up from her computer. They're all connected, sir, like a hive mind. When one learns something, they all learn it. That's why they're getting better at fighting us. Then we need to do something they can adapt to, the Admiral said. He opened a channel to all ships. All captains, listen carefully. We're going to do something crazy. Captain Shin Minsu of the assault ship, Inshin's Wrath, grinned. I like crazy. Admiral, good, because we're going to board them. The bridge went silent. Finally, Commander Yoon spoke up. Sir, board them. They're living creatures full of acid and God knows what else. Exactly, the Veltar could never survive inside those things. But we're from Earth. We've dealt with worse. 20 minutes later, Captain Shin led the first boarding party. His Marines wore the heaviest armor Earth could build, designed to work in the deepest ocean trenches and the highest mountains. They cut through the swarm creatures' hide with plasma torches and jumped inside. What they found was like being inside a nightmare. The creature's body was filled with green fluid that burned like acid. Strange organs pulsed in the walls, and everywhere there were smaller swarm creatures, like antibodies trying to defend the main body. It's trying to digest us. Marine Sergeant Choi Wubin reported as acid splashed off his armor, but the armor's holding. Find the brain. Captain, Shin ordered. These things have to have some kind of control center. They fought their way through the creature's body like they were exploring a cave system. The smaller swarm organisms attacked them with claws and teeth, but human weapons cut through them easily. Found it. Corporal Bae Sujin called out. She had discovered a chamber filled with what looked like a massive brain made of black crystal. Plant the charges, Captain Shin ordered. The explosion tore the swarm creature apart from the inside. As it died, its death scream was transmitted to every other creature in the swarm. But instead of making them afraid, it made them angry. Admiral, Dr. Nam reported. They're all focusing on us now. Every single creature is heading this way. Admiral Essio looked at his tactical display. Over 1,500 swarm creatures were converging on the human fleet. His ships had destroyed maybe 500, but at the cost of 8 ships destroyed and 12 badly damaged, the numbers didn't look good. But then Admiral Essio smiled. "Open a channel to the swarm," he ordered. "Sir?" "Oh," Mina asked. "You heard me? Open a channel." A few seconds later, the main screen showed the interior of a swarm creature. Something that might have been a face looked back at them. It had too many eyes and a mouth full of darkness. "I am Admiral Essio Jinwoo of the Human Space Navy," he said calmly. "You have made a mistake. You think we're like the other species you've eaten. Soft, weak, afraid to die." The swarm creature made a sound like breaking glass. "But we're not," the Admiral continued. "We come from a death world. We learned to fight by fighting everything on our planet that wanted to kill us, and we won." He gestured to his tactical display. "You have 1,500 creatures left. We have 29 ships. In any normal battle, you would win easily. But this isn't a normal battle." The swarm creature's eyes focused on him. "This is the day you learn what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object," Admiral Essio said. "And we humans are very, very immovable." He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "All ships, final attack formation. Today we finished this." What happened next would be remembered in galactic history as the Battle of Veltar Prime. The human fleet didn't just fight the Void Swarm, they tore it apart with surgical precision. Captain Lee Dongman used his destroyer's guns to create a wall of fire that the swarm creatures couldn't cross. Commander Yoon Hana led bombing runs that targeted the creatures' weak spots with deadly accuracy. And the boarding teams, led by Captain Shin, turned the swarm's own biology against them. "They can't adapt fast enough," Dr. Nam reported as another swarm creature exploded from the inside. "We're changing tactics faster than their hive mind can process." The final swarm creature died as the sun rose over Veltar Prime. Admiral S stood on his damaged bridge, looking at a tactical display that showed nothing but debris. "All ships report," he ordered. "This is Captain Kim Daegu's Fury reporting heavy damage but operational. Captain Lee here. Mizan's hammer is ready for action." One by one, 23 ships reported in. They had lost 6 ships and over 300 crew members, but they had one. Admiral Omina said quietly, "We're getting a transmission from the planet." Velinor appeared on the screen, but now his crystal body was bright with joy. "Humans," he said, "you have saved us. The Void Swarm is gone. All of it, not just defeated, but destroyed completely." "That was the idea," Admiral Essio said. "How?" Velinor asked. "How did you do what no one else could do?" Admiral Essio thought for a moment. "Because we're from a planet that tried to kill us every day. For millions of years, we didn't just survive, we became the most dangerous thing on it." He looked out at the stars, where other species would soon learn that humanity had entered the galactic community, not as explorers or traders, but as protectors. "And now," he said, "anyone who threatens our friends is going to learn that lesson the hard way." The human fleet began its journey home, leaving behind a galaxy that would never underestimate Deathworld humans again.